Like the proverbial oak, the armed forces of Nigeria have grown tremendously since independence. Aside receiving global recognition, they have become effective tools for welding together the disparate components of a country that today ranks as the largest black nation in the world. With an army, air force, and navy reputed as the most dominant in the West African sub-region, the Nigerian armed forces have proved their mettle not only in peacekeeping operations but also in combating threats to national security and cohesion. In all this, the Nigerian Navy stands as a force to be reckoned with. The Muhammadu Buhari administration came into power at a critical point in the nation's history, at a time when the country was under siege and insurgents had taken control over some parts of the northeast. With the amalgamation of the northern and southern protectorates and creation of the Nigerian Marine Department, the stage was set for the formation of the Royal Nigerian Navy, which later became the Nigerian Navy when the country assumed the status of a republic after independence. Through the tough and turbulent political weather of post-independence Nigeria, the Navy remained a professional force and consistently demonstrated capability and competence in the quest for peace and stability in the country. To Vice Admiral Awal Zubairu Gambo, the 21st Indigenous Chief of the Naval Staff, the Nigerian Navy has sustained its operational tempo and lived up to its statutory mandate.
For over 6 decades, the Nigerian Navy has lived up to its constitutional mandate, with particular emphasis on protecting the nation's maritime domain. The Navy has proven to be an important component of the nation's defense and security architecture, of course, as well as being a focal point for sustained national prosperity.
With the support of the Muhammadu Buhari administration, the Navy, in collaboration with other security agencies, has been able to degrade the power of insurgency in Nigeria and in the process loosened its stranglehold on local governments and communities in the affected parts of the country.
And what do you have today with respect to insurgency? You have a country that has almost totally won that war. It's not completely won, but it's almost won. Compare the situation in 2015 in the Northeast to today, and it's the difference between heaven and hell.
The difference is clear, but the war against criminality and other forms of threat to the nation's security rages on, with the Nigerian Navy playing a critical role.
We are highly involved in the ongoing efforts to tackle insecurity, first as a single service as well as in collaboration with other sister services and security agencies where we operate in joint operations coordinated by the defense headquarters. These are, of course, in addition to curbing maritime security, insecurity such as piracy and others within the maritime environment. To this effect, the Nigerian Navy deploys personnel across the various operations, which include Operation Safe Haven in the north central part of the country. We have Delta Safe in the south-south region, Wild Punch in the northwest, Operation Hardin Care in the northeast, including recently activated Operation Udoka in the southeast. In particular, is the Nigerian Navy Special Boat Service that conducts more daring missions as well as clearance operations at terrorist camps towards enhance national security.
Founded in 1956, the Nigerian Navy ranks among the largest navies on the African continent and has been actively involved in many local and international engagements, ranging from the Nigerian Civil War through to the restoration of normalcy in conflict-prone African countries, as well as in the Niger Delta militancy issues and Boko Haram insurgency. Under the Buhari administration, the Navy has been fortified with a new fleet of equipment to enable it contain possible aggression in the maritime environment, as well as continue to deal decisively with emerging threats to the peace and security of the country.
The administration has funded procurement of 381 flat bottom boats, assault, rigid hull, riverine patrol, and whaler boats. Most importantly, about 200 of these riverine patrol boats were built in country, thus complementing indigenous boat building capacity, employing generation and skills acquisition for our people.
Aware of the enormous responsibilities of providing leadership and building on existing foundation, Vice Admiral Gambo and his team hit the ground running soon after the formalities of assumption of office in January 2021. With the huge accomplishments recorded, Vice Admiral Gambo looks set to raise the bar of achievements to an unprecedented level. The scorecard is glaring. A 109 SP helicopter in the air, purpose-built and sophisticated, recently delivered with 2 more of its kind expected as part of the fleet recapitalization program of the Nigerian Navy. Already in the fleet are fast patrol boats, inshore patrol boats, air assets, as well as ocean special forces boats, and many more. While celebrating Lana, a hydrographic survey ship fully manned by Nigerian Navy personnel, currently surveying Nigeria's offshore waters, and the signing of the contract for the building of another hydrographic survey ship, the Navy took delivery of its newly constructed landing ship transport, NNS Kada, at the Damen Shipyard, United Arab Emirates.
Induction of this landing ship transport into the Nigerian Navy fleet has also further enhanced deterrence capability against maritime crimes and other illegalities.
Similarly, the service is poised to take delivery of high-endurance offshore patrol vessels, more fast patrol boats, rigid hull inflatable boats, and quite a number of other platforms including interceptor boats, flat-bottom boats, aluminium air boats, house boats, and unmanned aerial vehicles to enhance maritime surveillance.
The efforts are also ongoing to integrate this unmanned aerial vehicle with the maritime domain awareness systems for effective and seamless coverage of the entire maritime environment of the country. The fleet renewal efforts of the Nigerian Navy within the period under review led to the procurement of 415 platforms of various types and mix under this administration. I dare say it's a great feat.
A commendable feat indeed. In appreciation of his efforts towards equipping the military to tackle the myriad of security issues in Nigeria, President Buhari was recently honored in faraway Mauritania.
In Mauritania, the president received an award for strengthening peace in Africa. And he mentioned that the country has had to expend $1 billion in equipping the military, buying them equipment, buying them platforms, buying armaments, buying planes, fighter jets, and all that, Tucano planes for the Army, the Air Force, and the Navy. All of them fully equipped, well equipped now.
Yes, indeed, the situation has changed for the better. While taking delivery of various platforms recently acquired, the Nigerian Navy announced its shipbuilding capability.
I am glad to state that today's event marks another milestone in the history of the Nigerian Navy as we gather to witness the commissioning ceremony of some recently acquired inshore patrol craft and fast patrol boats of various categories, as well as the commissioning of the locally constructed Seaworld Defense Boat 3. I am delighted to notify that the Naval Dockyard Limited SDP project, which started in 2007, has yielded substantial reward with the completion of the third Seaworld Defense Boat. Thus, in line with my vision, which is to leverage on all factors of national location, technology, training, teamwork, and synergy to re-energize the Nigerian Navy as a well-motivated and ready naval force in the discharge of her constitutional mandate, the service intends to raise the bar by embarking on the construction of 2 Seaworld Defense boats. Evidently, the experience garnered so far, the Naval Dockyard Limited is adequately poised to take on this challenge and in pursuit of the federal government of Nigeria's local content development effort.
At the moment, the Naval Dockyard is constructing the 4th and 5th editions of Nigerian Navy Seaworld Defense boats, while new naval bases have been established in Lekki and Ekpe in Lagos, Oguta in Imo, Mfon in Cross River, Shagamu in Ogun, and Lake Chad in the northeast.
These new naval bases and many others under this administration to deny criminals and terrorists freedom of action, and to, of course, further ameliorate exploring the water bodies for nefarious activities.
Furthermore, the construction and reconstruction of critical facilities across the country, extensive housing projects for naval personnel, and the overall staff welfare have received unprecedented attention with presidential concessional promotions, enhanced medical facilities and equipment across Nigerian Navy hospitals. While the service invested heavily in the training of its personnel as a matter of priority, the construction of the sports complex in Navy Town, Lagos, represents the commitment of the Nigerian Navy to the physical development of its people and the promotion of sporting activities.
Nigerian Navy Sports Complex is equipped with state-of-the-art indoor sporting equipment and world-class gymnasium. Additionally, the complex has a swimming pool and a standard football pitch, as well as tracks for athletic events. The goal is to encourage personnel to continue to strive towards remaining fit at all times while developing the team spirit, which is synonymous with the Nigerian Navy as encapsulated in the motto, "Onward Together."
Indeed, for a long time to come, the thrill and excitement of the 12th edition of the Nigerian Navy Games will continue to reverberate to the credit of the Gambo administration. President Muhammadu Buhari attended the event. While the global community has recorded immense success in the war against piracy, illegal operations on Nigerian waters and the nefarious activities of crude oil thieves have continued to constitute major sources of revenue leakage. Operation Dakata da Barao, a joint initiative of the Nigerian Navy and the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, was designed to combat maritime criminality and economic sabotage. Rear Admiral S.S. Garba, who represented the Chief of the Naval Staff at the flag-off ceremony, was optimistic the operation would deal a mortal blow on the business of the oil thieves.
The NFPC is concerned because over the past few months, there have been reports of massive theft of our petroleum products, purportedly through the pipelines, through filtering away of our products by vessels, and that has resulted in a lot of, bleeding of the nation. We have lost so much in terms of revenue, and from the report we are getting, Nigeria is actually bleeding, and there's a need for us to bring this to a halt. And that is why, in collaboration with the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, the Nigerian Navy has engaged in this operation in order to, first of all, trace where the problem is.
Yes, indeed, the operation has recorded huge successes. Apart from arresting suspects and vessels and the deactivation of illegal refining sites and storage facilities, boats and vehicles used for the operations were also demobilized. Looking back, Vice Admiral Gambo feels gratified that much of his dreams, as encapsulated in his vision on assumption of office, have positively impacted the Nigerian Navy.
I would say it is gratifying to note that all this collectively impacted the Nigerian Navy maritime security efforts, which is yielding desired results. In this regard, I must commend the patriotic commitment of officers and ratings who have demonstrated renewed focus towards advancing the Nigerian Navy to the next level of progress and development.
The Nigerian Navy, onward together.